we're live. So the first complaint we're gonna be like, they can't hear us, but that's okay. We'll make it work one way or another.
All
We're
right.
live.
We are live. Welcome to.
Well, let's wait for people to join.
Why can't we just talk?
I guess we can talk. Oh, we have our first.
There's some visitors in the house.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, people, I want to apologize in advance. This is the very first time. This is something near and dear to my heart. I've always wanted some kind of podcast or way to discuss topics with you guys in a very real format. Where
Sorry, my
that's
music's
okay.
playing.
Yeah, that is. Exactly, very real format, because that's actually what life is like. Sometimes when I'm talking to people, that's exactly what I hear is like the phone's going off and things like that. So I know you're never 100% with me. Are you with me now, Leah?
I'm trying to be.
We need like a no cell phone policy during a podcast. That's really important, right?
It's very important. I'm so sorry. It won't happen again, Master.
Okay, yeah, exactly. You know, Sergeant Alley over here.
So we have one viewer so far.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Very excited to have somebody actually paying attention to something we might have to say.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so Leah, why am I here today?
So I dragged you here out of your amazing office because we are actually going to, it's very informal right now, so let us know if you can or cannot hear us right now, because if not, we're just moving mouse to you. Anyway, so we're going to start a new podcast, Coffee with the Coach.
That would be me.
Yeah.
Coach
I'm
Allie.
just her sidekick, I'm just going to be the one that she beats on all the time,
Okay, so Leah is more than a sidekick. Leah is somebody who has actually been with me for a really long time and has gone through this process, and honestly, her before and after photos are like amazing, and I'm super proud of her. And so we decided, because we have this rapport where I am free to speak freely and call out the bullshit as it happens. So we found that there's a lot of fun and humor in the journey of getting healthier, right? So it's kind of nice to be able to do it with a smile and with a laugh, and to realize we're all human and we make some of the dumbest mistakes ever.
That's
you should
very
see
true.
some of our blooper reels. She's done some of my videos in the past with exercise videos, and it's been a lot of fun. We actually have a good time. And I think that's what I really enjoy most about these platforms, is being able to, there's enough people out there who are super serious about this. I mean, like buff bodies and like crazy insane diets. I'm not one of those people. I can't be that way. I'm not going to pretend to be that way. We're human. I appreciate when somebody confesses to me that they went out drinking and got totally drunk the night before.
Lord knows I've confessed to her so many times when I show up to her office. I'm just like, okay, so full disclosure, I drank. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Just beat me already.
So I do appreciate that, because so many times we try to lie and we try to cover up the things we're doing, not realizing that it has nothing to do with impressing me or any coach that you're working with, or even yourself. I mean, you are lying to you. So we try to scrap that immediately and realize that we're all human.
Yep.
So
Indeed.
yeah, so one of the reasons for the podcast is to really touch on some of those things that people are making those like very awkward mistakes on, or covering up, or just getting lost in their own head enough that they just need a little life preserver thrown to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's really timely, because from what I'm seeing, everyone around me is so angry all the time right now. What do you think? With this whole COVID bullshit stuff going, I mean, not bullshit, it's real, but like, do you sense, like, even people you're around, you sense them getting like really insane? We were just talking about that earlier, like the world's going cray-cray.
Oh no, it's definitely going cray-cray. Whether it's political division and all that. Not that we're going to get into politics, because, we don't want to put you guys to sleep.
Nope.
So, yes, people are going cray-cray, and the one thing that I changed around is I'd rather not feed into the negativity, but rather see the opportunity. So I'm trying to stay as zen as possible. So
We call that creating your bubble. right? Your safety bubble. And it's kind of
safety
fun.
bubble, sure.
Yeah, it's kind of been fun. Remember how kids went to school, or you went to school and there was a Venn diagram and you had to find
the
that,
two circles
and you had to
the
find that
middle ground.
commonality right in between.
Yep.
So that's kind of like our Corona bubbles, right? Like what is safety for you? And obviously Leah's in my bubble, and I'm in hers, but it's kind of finding that safety, because there's so many can'ts. I can't do things. And I preach this all day long, you know, to my clients about, I'm starting to watch this mindset really dig in, where people are getting frustrated because I hear the same thing. We're all waiting. It's like, what are we waiting for?
Yeah.
You know, we're waiting for something to end that no one has any idea when it's going to end. So I figured today we'd kind of talk about ways to stay sane. Quick funny story. I love this story. So during this whole pandemic, one of the things that we started doing was shopping for our clients, you know, and then just even if they weren't our client, we would go grocery shopping for them, kind of much like an Instacart or a Shipt, purposely because people were putting stuff into their carts. And if I was watching their cart, they were definitely like, okay, I'm not putting that in there. So one of the cutest stories, because it really summarized everything everyone's feeling, is this woman ended up buying Rolos, Hershey's, snack size bags, Kit Kats.
Oh my God, you've got to be kidding me.
No, and seriously, I was in the candy aisle for a good portion, and honestly, inside I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe like she's doing this, and I can't say anything because it wasn't somebody that I worked with. And then 1 6-pack of Atkins shakes.
Okay. Hey, you know what? There's that, like, you know, there's that balance.
So I actually thought
Don't
it was
knock the effort.
No. And it was actually really cute, because when I delivered it to her, and you know, she had the chair set up in the garage so that I could like contactless delivery with her, and she
Hey,
just
we have 2 more viewers.
Hi,
Let's say
everybody.
hi to everybody.
Hi everybody. I'm so appreciating you out there. So you can send us some comments. We're just kind of talking about things that have been happening, and I'm going to give you guys some pointers for honestly trying to stay healthy during this time. But it's really cute, because I was just saying my story is this 6-pack of Atkins shakes, she leaves it there, and she just kind of looks at me really sheepishly, and I'm not going to judge you. But I just thought, I said, well, you got to do something, right? And I just laughed, thinking that her 1 6-pack, I'd feel better if there was at least 3 6-packs in there, right? But the 1 6-pack of shake versus, you know, like I think it was at least 5 bags of candies and crackers and chips that she had in there. It was a majority of her food, and I know it was comfort food, right? We're all looking for that comfort, and a way to, you know, survive this in a way. And so that goes back to eating our feelings, which we kind of don't want to do right now unless you're feeding it in a really good way. So that's a big thing, guys. Like if there's any...
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. I just stepped on her.
So the idea of staying sane while trying to stay healthy has become a really big thing right now. So let me ask, what are you on your phone
I'm
for?
sorry. I'm okay. So like real talk. Like I'm not only her sidekick right now, but I'm also trying to make sure we have our viewers join us. And I'm like trying to share the podcast on my personal page
she's
too.
so awesome.
You know, like,
Yeah, but I kind of want to know from you, because you're like real. You're someone who goes through this. So let me just ask you a question. How are you staying sane? I mean, I know we talked about being zen, but let's talk for a minute about eating or health, or like what are you doing to keep yourself in control? And do you feel that when...
actually, no.
I'm getting close to the couch. Do you feel that you turn to food as a first line emotional reprieve?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I actually turned to alcohol.
Okay.
You know, like I just I drink my whiskey, and you know, I don't know. I just can't describe it. I mean, it's
Why?
like,
Why do you do
why
that?
do I drink my whiskey? I guess you can say it's like more of a comfort thing, you know. And ginger ale, you know, there's my balance. You know, I got ginger ale, so it's like, you know, supposed to help my tummy, but you know, I don't know. But I don't really have a sweet tooth. I have more of a salty tooth. So I will say that if I'm really, really having a bad day, I'm just gonna have burgers and fries.
Okay.
More really the fries, because I've always had whatchamacallit, I've always had this addiction to French fries. And I will say it goes all the way back to my childhood. And, you know, I can't blame my parents. You know, they're immigrants. They came to, you know, to the U.S. or whatever. And my mom would actually buy me small fries from McDonald's as a treat, as a Friday treat. So from then on, it's like that salty tooth just like kept growing and growing and growing. So now I have a giant salty tooth in there somewhere.
Okay, so that's the perfect example of a mood and food connection. So the idea that a lot of our food cravings come from some kind of an emotional connection. And I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but through all my years of coaching, we've learned a couple things. And one of them is what your cravings mean. So on one side, you said, I don't really have a sweet tooth. Okay, I have more of a salty tooth. But then we really can break down to sugar. So sugar comes from one of two places, or actually more than two places, but for intents and purposes of cravings, it's either going to come from refined foods, okay, like our cakes, cookies, chocolates, like candy, all those kinds of things, or it's going to come from our carbohydrates, our higher impact carbohydrates. So we start looking at the pasta, the rice, the potatoes, the starchier vegetables like corn. When you start breads, so when you start looking at all of those things, those are they mean something. So you kind of said it, but maybe in a little bit of an opposite way. So a lot of people, if you're struggling with the I need the crackers, I need the chips, I need that kind of thing, that's actually comfort, like you said, comfort food. Most of them, like if you think about when you don't feel good, my favorite comfort food is grilled cheese and tomato soup. Okay. So that is.
Ooh, that sounds actually.
I know, I love
hungry.
it. It is. It's so yummy. I love it, and really good ones. And then
you
know,
have me itching over here.
Salivating. Oh my god. But that's comfort. It means connection. And during coronavirus or during this whole pandemic, one of the things we've been told to do is distance from each other. So we lose that emotional connection and we lose that comfort. So when we are gearing towards those chips, those crackers, the rice, the pasta, what we're really saying to ourselves is that we're looking for some emotional support. We're looking for a hug. I call it like the Olaf food, if you've ever watched Frozen, which is just like one of my favorites.
I've seen it so long ago. I have not.
Oh my God.
I can't remember it.
He wants warm hugs.
Oh, he wants warm hugs.
He loves warm hugs. Olaf loves warm hugs. And we all do. Like, I love warm hugs. I think the hardest thing right now for me in the office is not being able to high five people or give them a hug. Like, I'm a big hugger. So this has been really tough for me to find ways to connect with people.
And please excuse the fact that we're so close. I know that we should technically be having a mask and practice safe distancing, but I will say that we're both doing good.
Yes. And
That's all
just for
I can say.
anyone who's out there that knows me, I have actually gotten tested just preventatively because of the nature of the business I am, and I am negative. So, yay. I'm not going to.
It's the one thing that's negative that's good.
Yeah, so one thing that's negative is good is your test, right? So on to the flip side. So when you are craving, alcohol does fall under sugar. So I know you say you don't have a sweet tooth.
There
alcohol.
she is calling me out. I mean, there's no way around it. She's always got to call me out.
But you know what? It was perfect because you set yourself up for what I'm going to say.
I kind of did.
You
Gosh.
did. So alcohol is a big sugar. If you go through, and I've been through all the breweries and distilleries, and I've taken all the tours, and actually if you almost always look, there's a sugar wash that goes into the process in order to help get that yeast and hops to break down. So there's always sugar in your alcohol. There may not be added sugar, but there is actually sugar in the process. So between sugar, between candy, chocolate, I mean, think about when a woman has her cycle, usually they start craving chocolate because the body's undergoing a lot of stress, right?
Well,
so,
true.
you know, there's...
I mean, I will say, like, it's not a sweet tooth, but here I go. Like, I always reach for chocolate. And that's why I asked you.
Yeah, well, so the really interesting thing about that is that sugar is a stress response because your body releases cortisol, which is a sugar hormone. Oh, we have all kinds of doggies joining our little podcast today. So, guys, if you don't have a pet, that is the best emotional thing you can get besides having food.
Yeah.
Like, be with your pet. It's amazing. That's why there's pet therapy.
Yeah, that's actually, it's funny that you mentioned that because there's actually been a spike in animal adoption
There should be.
because of this pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? If you can, even fostering an animal. Or I love pet sitting. That's one of my favorite things to do on the side because it's such great emotional support for me.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you, like, just, you see, while you were setting all this up, I was just totally playing with the dog. It's just so cute. They are, because you can't help but smile, you know, and you can't, and that's somebody, like, I don't have to test the dog to get kisses and hugs, and I love it. I love it. Say hello. Look, you can't see. It's too small of the floor. Just trust they're there. There's about 4 of them right now. Maybe the next podcast is in a shelter.
Okay, now we're getting a little ambitious.
No. So
but we have some new viewers, so let's say hi to everybody. Feel free to write some comments if you have any questions. Like, Allie is like a very hot commodity, and she's always like, you know, busy, and like this is a time to ask questions. And if you want to talk about anything right now, don't hesitate to write a comment below, and we'll answer it right away.
Listen, we're doing this for you guys because not everybody feels comfortable even having a coach. I wish there was a me for me because it's fantastic. It's something that to have accountability and to have somebody like try to get you towards success is important in our lives no matter what, because sometimes just our partners don't do it and our loved ones can't do it. There's too many emotional things involved. So this is an opportunity for me to get back to you guys if you're struggling out there or there's just something you want to know because you're trying to do it on your own and there's too much information out there. There really is. I mean, it's overwhelming. I always say I can walk through the checkout line and figure out how to lose 10 pounds in 2 minutes. There is like every article in the world that Dr. Oz has done or somebody's done that tells you how to do that fast and quick. And I wish I could tell you there was a fast, quick way to do it. None of them lead to anything good. But back to that sugar piece, just so you know that cortisol hormone is a blood sugar hormone, which is why it attracts more sugar. So alcohol is one. And that usually whenever you're having that sweet tooth or that alcohol tooth, because you don't consider it sweet, that's because you're dealing with stress. High stress, we're looking for a reward. Those sugars are a reward. We got through something long, we got through something hard, and damn it, I deserve it. The truth of the matter is, what do you really deserve? Right?
Yeah.
I know. We deserve healthy, clean bodies.
Yeah.
Listen, if we're at home and there's nothing we can do, now's a really good time to start looking at being creative and being hands-on and finding like some really cool recipes for some make your own snacks at home, which might be a really good idea for us to do one time. If anybody's ever joined my salad in a jar parties before, we've done them virtually now. Those have been amazing ways to eat foods that maybe you get tired of eating, but it's really fun because then we do it in a virtual setting. But even cooking a meal, like you can literally log on with your friends and Zoom a meal night with each other and prep a meal. So it doesn't have to be hard to be healthy. I think that's a common misconception that it takes too much time and it takes too much money and it takes too much effort. But
you'd be surprised how much it's actually easier to prep healthy stuff because it's like you just throw veggies and just the only thing is you cook your meat and that's it.
Yeah.
Imagine like making pasta and putting all that together. It's like that's time consuming. Me, I'm good. I just steam some broccoli and eat some chicken. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
But
well, and that's
sometimes.
but you got to flavor your food too, right? Because I got to tell you, sometimes I get bored reading
That is
some
very
food journal.
true.
I
I
get
will
these
say.
food journals, and I'm like chicken and vegetables, chicken and vegetables, chicken and vegetables.
That is very true.
I get bored, and I do this for a living, so I think your
I
food
know.
should definitely
Okay.
have flavor. If you're not playing with spices, you need to be playing with spices. Just try to keep it to sea salt or Himalayan salt. It's actually a great form of potassium. So if people
Himalayan salt?
yeah.
Oh wow, look at that. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, Himalayan salt, sea salt, they don't hold in the kidneys. You're not going to get all bloaty feeling. Most restaurants and takeout food, unfortunately, don't use that when they're cooking because they're trying to cure their meats. So they might be using regular kosher salt or iodized salt, which is where you get that bloaty feeling when you're done.
Ah.
Yeah, so that's water. So, I'm interested if there are any viewers out there. I don't know where you are. We're here in Florida, and South Florida to be exact, and we have a nice little hurricane,
Oh god.
tropical storm coming our way.
And it's so crazy because I feel like the news have been drowning us so much with the whole pandemic that it's like, wait, I just found out like 2 days ago that there was a Cat 1 coming our way, and it's like
Didn't know it,
how-
guys.
I
I know. I didn't know it, and so now like I'm deathly afraid to go to the grocery stores. So if you are preparing for this storm, even along any of the East Coast, just remember, like, you know, the best way you want to get through a hurricane or any kind of storm where there could be possible outages or things like that is sanely and safely. So don't buy your hurricane prepared survival pantry should not be full of M&Ms and Ritz crackers and all that kind of Hershey's Kisses. Oh yeah, they're shelf stable, but it doesn't mean that they're good for you.
That's true.
Yeah, so we have to think smart because food really does dictate how the rest of your body operates. Even if you look at the pandemic, I mean, 70%, and for those of you who do listen to me or do hear me, I'm sorry if I repeat this again, I just feel like we can never repeat it enough. 70% of your entire immune system is in your gut. 70%. That's huge, right? That's more than half of it is in your belly. So,
that's true.
Yeah. So even if you don't want to change your food and you just want to be healthy during all of this, you know, there's all kinds of like amazing over-the-counter supplements, but like number one thing is probiotic. If you're not taking a probiotic, you probably should be. There's things like in my family, I take Juice Plus. That makes sure I'm getting all the whole food nutrition that I'm getting from fruits and vegetables. And so I'm literally flooding like 20 or 30 in my body. But if you're not taking something like that, like maybe a B complex, because that's really helps to enforce gut, those are things that maybe you can look at. Echinacea, zinc, they're wonderful. But you can't really take them long term. So
You cannot.
You cannot.
Oh,
You cannot take them long term.
That's good to know.
Zinc, zinc is interesting because zinc is a master mineral, right? So I always consider it like a crossing guard for all the other minerals in my body. They all kind of need zinc in order to kind of chelate into your system.
Yeah.
So that you probably could do if you're around people. You know, some people take, I don't know, 25, 50 milligrams a day. I always recommend taking, like for me, I like a pure zinc supplement versus just like an airborne or Coldies or something that has zinc because it's very little. It's only like 7.5 milligrams. But zinc is something, but again, you just have to be really careful because if you think you're having any symptoms of COVID, some of those over-the-counter supplements can actually cause an adverse reaction.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's kind of they call it a cytokine storm or your histamines, and it actually can cause more like elderberry is one of them, echinacea is one of them, vitamin C is another one. So, funny story, do you really know what vitamin C is good for?
You know, I think, well, the myth is that it was for immune system, but it's really not.
Actually, it's for heart disease.
For just heart disease.
Well, it's used, I mean, you can definitely boost up your immune system with it, right? So vitamin C for sure, you can do that. Okay. Most people, when they're doing a cold, they're like pounding vitamin C, which can really rip up your stomach. So make sure it's the ascorbic acid kind, because otherwise, on top of not feeling good.
I love your descriptive terms. They're like, it'll shred up your stomach.
Yeah, well, you don't want to have to be dealing with that because that's not fun either.
I know.
So, yeah, that's something that years ago when explorers came over, did you ever hear of Lyme disease or
Lyme disease
or like rickets and scurvy and
yeah.
Okay, so that really was the precursor for heart disease. They just didn't have heart disease, terminology at that time.
Wow.
So they brought over like their fruits, like vitamin C fruits.
Okay.
So oranges, lemons, limes, those kinds of things that they could find.
Wow.
And that prevented rickets and scurvy. Well, when's the last time you heard of anyone having rickets or scurvy in the 20th century? It's just heart disease.
Nobody.
They do. Almost everybody. It's a huge portion of our population is heart disease. We just don't call it rickets and scurvy anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's past the explorer era, so
Gotcha.
Now we're more
Scurvy.
evolved scurvy. You got rickets.
I know, rickets.
Sounds like you're just gonna fall apart because you get like rickety bones, right? So
wow,
I know.
Very sad story.
Yes, it is.
So let's bring it back because I think we have one viewer. I'm not sure if she's joined us. Ulysses. I spoke with Ulysses Cardoso, very long time friend of mine from high school. And she was very excited that we were going to have this podcast.
Hey, hi, honey.
Because, I don't know if you're there, but if you are, please leave a comment. For everyone who's joining us right now, thank you for joining us today. I'm Ali's sidekick, and this is Ali, and this is our first podcast with Coffee with the Coach on the couch. We're going to be finding interesting locations of where to have this podcast. This is our first. This is very experimental. And again, if you guys have any feedback or if you have any questions or if you want us to talk about something in particular, leave us a comment or just, send a message whenever you can. And this video will be posted so you won't miss what we talked about, which could be very, very important, especially if you're on the road or like on the road to health.
On your journey.
That's what I was going to say, journey.
On your journey.
The journey is longer than a road. Because it's forever. What is it? Like,
we just say
it's changing.
you're never going to get a medal for finishing, right?
That's true.
It's not one of those things. That's why we say don't speed through the process, right? There's no cop traffic lights coming behind you to tell you that you're going too fast or too slow. It's your race,
which is why the tortoise won.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and there's that really cool saying. I have it somewhere hanging in my house: "Run your own race," and it is a journey. There's no. I hate to tell you, there's no finish line. Everyone's going to get a participation ribbon that is doing it because it's not a matter of how quickly you got there, that you got there first. It's a matter that you're working to get there.
Yep. So going back to you, Lacey, I think, and we might have discussed it before, but for anyone who's joining us now, she actually wanted us to talk about healthy snacking, because it's an inevitable thing that we do, pandemic, hurricane,
Okay.
we have one coming.
Yes.
And so, just wanted to, what are the alternatives rather than reaching for like M&Ms and cookies and, whatever's easy? What are your alternatives for snacking or how do we distract our stomach from,
That's a better question, right? Because to distract, I don't believe in willpower. I really don't think there's such a thing as willpower. There's something called brain power. So it's kind of whether or not you're in control of your thoughts or how you're thinking. So when you're looking at brain power, it does need 10 minutes. So if you can't find something else to do, I know at my house, if I feel like snacking and I've literally eaten the food I'm supposed to eat, and I've drank the water that I'm supposed to drink, then I know I'm okay and I've been taken care of. Then I really don't need to eat. Sorry, I'm playing with the dog while I'm talking to you. I can't help it. See? No.
Oh, she lost her.
Backed out.
She's like, nope, I didn't sign a release.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you're looking at those types of things, first thing is if you know that you have taken care of yourself by eating when you were supposed to and drinking when you're supposed to, because that's a whole another lesson about timing, then you know what, you're not hungry, distract. So I usually leave like a basket laying around in my house, and that might be like a crossword puzzle or a book I haven't read. There's some things downloaded on my phone that I want to get to reading. A game on my phone. I love the game Frozen. Back to Olaf again.
I know.
I'm so good at that game.
You should get sponsored by Disney.
I'm telling you, I want to be a princess. So those are things that I would do first. Get up and call a friend, take a walk. Now, that doesn't always work. Sometimes we just need to feed whatever's going on. So a really cool fact is chocolate. That response that we get from chocolate, you can actually get from cherries. So buying fresh cherries from the store and having them on hand.
What kind of cherries? Not the maraschino cherries that come in a jar, right?
No, those are ice cream topping cherries.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify what cherries we're going for.
No, right,
here.
fresh. Listen, when you're in the grocery store, number one rule of thumb, don't go down the aisles unless you need to. You should literally be walking the perimeter of the store. If you're walking and you're getting foods that are fresh, they're generally not bad for you. Right? So, and it's gotten better. Like, I'm impressed within the last couple of years how many products there actually are now at your disposal. Like, right down to hard-boiled eggs. So, even something where that was time consuming, you can grab and go. I mean, there's things like Sargento makes snack breaks. So if you want something quick and it's portion control. I think the biggest thing in a snack is portion control. If it's nuts, make sure that you buy pre-packaged, whether it's like the 100 calorie, or you see them like the little snack size bags that are hanging by, that end cap to get you on the way out. Those are, anything that has a portion control. I love celery and the little Jif to go peanut butter, or the, I think it's Justin's almond butter comes in the packs. Just keep it in a portion. Even with fruit, you can go overboard with fruit too. Things like grapes or things like cherries.
Yep.
Portion it out, 10 or 15. If you think you're going to blow through it too fast, put them in a snack size bag and freeze them, because they're really cool. Like, even I like halos, the little halos, and you section it and you freeze them.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
good. And it's nice to float in water too. It flavors your water. which is kind of like little ice cubes.
That's awesome.
Even when you look at crackers, you know, on the back of that, you're going to see on that nutritional label, and in learning to read a label is something completely different, but you can like eye it really quick. And if something offers you 23 crackers versus 10, almost for the same calorie, you're going to kind of know which one is better for you. So like I like making my own, you know, sometimes like meat and cheese boards, and I'll have,
What's the fancy term for it? Charcuterie.
I get that wrong all the time. Charcuterie. That's just like
charcuterie,
like hors d'oeuvres. The first time I read that, I was calling it hors d'oeuvres.
No, the best one is like hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres? I haven't heard that one.
I was like, oh my god, I'm so ready to eat some hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, no, I never do that. Mine was always hors d'oeuvres. I was like, what the hell?
Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres, but
we make terrible French people, by the way.
Yeah, we
terrible.
do.
Yeah.
Oui. Why? Why? Why?
It's spelled Y.
Yes, oui. Or no, O-U-I, right? O-oui.
Oui.
I guess it's we.
Yeah.
But yeah, like your own charcuterie board. Like anything that you see that you think would be good, if you try to make it yourself, generally right there is better. But like I said, there's quick things like P3s. They have the little already snack packs, and it usually has like a nut, a meat, and a cheese.
I was on that for a little bit. Yeah,
those are super easy. But again, you know, walk the perimeter of the store. Don't try to go down the aisles. Once you go down, you really are looking at that processed and prepackaged and preserved types of foods, and that's where we do get into trouble, because think about all the things that most people like: your chips, your crackers, your cookies, right? It's, if you can avoid the aisles, avoid it, unless you need like paper products, right? If you're,
that's true.
I mean, now we can find toilet paper
or
again,
a toothbrush.
Or a toothbrush, you know, like house goods, cleaning supplies and house goods.
Things you don't consume.
No, but like even down to pasta, you know, if you're going to eat pasta, be smart. Like I'm a huge fan of edamame pasta. The miracle noodles, or those shirataki noodles that you find again in the fresh section where the vegetables or the Asian vegetables are. Those are great, and you can really bulk up. People are using zucchini pasta right now, because I've never seen, when I go shopping, how much of an aisle is taken up by pasta. Like next time you go to the store, pay attention to that. Like I'm blown away.
Yeah.
And now they're coming out.
Because it's easy.
Well, and they're marketing. Listen, marketing is genius, right? It can sell anything. So, you know, protein is come back to the forefront these last couple of years, because protein is something that helps build your muscle. It's brain power. It holds your immune system up. It gives you some energy. And a lot of times we become protein devoid. We're not taking it enough, right? Our carbohydrates come into the mix a little bit more, but they know that. So next time you go down, how many different boxes of pasta say protein on it? Or now how many say vegetable made?
Yeah.
You know, it's smart, it's ingenious. And when you don't know any better, you think that's a better choice. But, you know, just look on the back of the label and really see what you're getting. You know, I always kind of look at it like dollar values. There's a value for what I'm putting into my system. And there are ways to figure out how much you actually need. I'm not saying don't have, you know, Oreo cookies, because I like those too, but you need to know what a serving size is. And I think if you respect whatever food you're eating, I think we've all lost respect for food to some degree. We use it as a tool, right? We use it to feed being angry, bored, frustrated, overtired. You know, sometimes your body needs to go to sleep. You know, don't snack at night, go to sleep.
Don't snack at night, go to sleep.
Yeah.
Late at night, of course.
Yeah, that later snack.
So how do you, what advice do you have for night owls? And people who work third shifts?
Well, okay, so that's different. When you're working a shift, you know, your circadian rhythm kind of sets the tempo of your body. So if you've always worked a night shift, then you have to treat, or that graveyard shift or that later shift, you know, you kind of have to make sure, number one, you're still getting sleep, but when you're waking up, that's truly when your day begins. So if you work midnight to 8 a.m. and you get up at around 11:30, your technical breakfast or meal one is at that time, and you move through that process through there. But sleep is important. I mean, we're supposed to be getting at least 7 hours of sleep. There's a thing that says that...
Sorry, that was just my ring, guys.
Is that yours or mine?
It's people telling me that people are in front of my house. I guess they just want to come in and party. I don't know.
They want to hear us.
Probably.
But even if you are... Where was my train of thought?
The late shift, the third.
Oh, sleep.
And sleep,
they were
7 hours.
saying, you know, 7 hours, you have a 35% higher risk of becoming obese, okay, or waking. So sleep has a lot to do with that. So I just, I don't know. I would say, what would I do? I wouldn't eat. When you're done with your dinner, you're done for the night. You know, if you absolutely have to have something, make sure you've got in all your water, that you've gotten in everything that you've needed to. Make sure that you've ate everything you needed to, because some people will skip meals all through the day and then they come at the end of the night and they think they're going to make it all up.
Yeah.
Cannot do that. Okay.
Wow.
I know. So I would just say hot tea. Hot decaf tea. Fruit flavored hot decaf tea.
I think that's what's funny, because the thought of me making tea, I'm just like, you know what, I'm good. It just stops me in my tracks, and I'm just like, I'm good. The thought of tea, like, I don't know. I guess I have to build that acquired taste for tea. I don't know why. I just can't seem to like tea. So
Yeah.
I am that person that doesn't like tea.
Well, I will tell you, fruit flavored decaf hot tea works wonders. It really does. So
Okay.
that's your best over like nighttime snacking thing, is really
Tea.
not to eat. Yeah, not to eat. Go to bed. Go to sleep. You know?
Go to sleep.
Well, yeah, because then we feel like we're missing out on something. So people are like forcing themselves to stay awake or do something because it's their time. And
What's that called? FOMO?
FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all have that.
We do have
We
FOMO.
have that
That's
FOMO
an unfortunate
disease.
thing.
I know. So, any other questions for me? Do you have any other questions for me?
Any questions for our viewers?
If you don't have one now, like Leah mentioned before, please feel free to reach out to us and kind of give us. This was our first shot doing it. I promise we'll probably get a little bit better at this.
Yeah.
But I kind of do like the off the cuff. It's real. You're going to get real advice. You're going to get real things. I'm not going to bullshit you, and nor am I going to make you into something that most of us can't be. Our lifestyles don't allow us to be that totally engulfed in all of this. But we need to get buy-in to stay healthy and
Yep.
to survive. And not just survive, we need to survive and thrive. So,
That's true.
Yeah.
And then I will be the sidekick, and also the client perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you won't just hear it from me, you'll hear it from her, because she'll tell you the truth too. So, all right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, well,
I've taken the beating from her. Trust me.
yeah, and I'm not afraid to give one in a really gentle way. That's why they
Yeah.
love me. So, yes, if there's anything, please feel free to reach out with us. I'm really glad that you gave us this time on your Saturday, and I'm happy that I'm here to be able to share that time with you, and I look forward to seeing you on our future podcasts.
Yay!
Yay!
Bye. Coffee with a coach.
Signing out.